In today's lesson, we're going to learn how we can use Premiere Pro's multicam feature. So in sport events or any other event, there are usually a lot of cameras around the room. So all of these cameras are focused on the subject. This could be a race car, a dancer, an animal, or anything else. And the reason why there are so many cameras is so that later on in post-production, they can switch between the different angles as they are editing the video. This is pretty common with live events. Imagine a basketball match. There's always multiple cameras around the court. All of these cameras are filming the match, but each of them is focused on one element. So one camera is focused on the player, the other one on the ball. One has a wider shot, one has a close-up. And then there's a person that directs which camera goes on the screen. So in the live stream, they can just switch between camera 3, 4, and switch between the different angles to make the audience more engaged. But if you're not switching between cameras live, then you would have to do it in post-production. So Premiere Pro already has this feature, which allows us to put many different videos on top of each other and switch between them as we play the video. So by default, you would just maybe go through your clip, trim it, and then bring this guy back, maybe switch it like this, but this can take a lot of time. So the multicam feature allows you to play the video, and then while you're watching the preview, you're making your cuts. So it's as interesting as it sounds, and we're going to go over it in this lesson. So there are two ways that you can use the multicam effect. The first one is to create it in the project panel and then bring it into the timeline, or just create it inside the timeline. That depends on your videos. Let's go in the project panel. If you want your entire clip from start to finish, then you can just bring them all into the timeline and create the multi-camera sequence. But if in your clips you only want, let's say, this much of your video, then you would want to do it inside the project panel. Let's begin with the project panel method. I'm going to use my playhead, set a mark in point and a mark out point. So it could be like a tiny bit of this video and maybe the entire clip for the last one. Once you have set your points, we're going to grab them all, right click, create multi-camera source sequence. You're going to get this window, give it a name, and call it multicam method 1. Now in our example, I have some random videos from the internet, but usually this method is used for when you have one subject doing one action, and then you've got different cameras around the subject recording at the same time. For example, your subject is sitting on a chair, they're talking, and you have one camera really close up, one camera really far away, one camera from maybe behind them, and one camera from above. The cameras are all recording at the same time, and in all of those videos, your subject is performing that action. So you would want to synchronize all of those so that when you put these different clips next to each other, they don't kind of cut off the subject's action. Essentially, we would just be looking at the subject's action from different angles. So that's why we have the synchronize option. Synchronize with endpoints, then hit OK. So there's my multicam sequence. I call it that again. In the beginning, it had my video name. Delete that, and then just make a sequence. Right click, new sequence from clip. So once I have this, I'm going to go down here in the wrench button and enable the multi-camera option. So we have all of our videos right here, and the numbering is 1, 2, 3, and 4. It's not written there, but that's how it is. 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is your final preview. So now what I can do is to play my video and switch between these different clips. If you want to change the order, you would want to go back to Settings, come down here, Edit Cameras. Here I can see the numbers assigned to each clip, and I can just switch their position if I want another video above the other. You can also turn a video on or off by pressing this button. Down here we can change cameras per page. So if I had more than 4 videos, I can change the amount here. Maybe I have 16 or 8, and I can just set the number here. If I set this to 2, I will not get the rest. And instead I have a page 2 that I can just switch between using the arrows right here. Let's go back to Edit Cameras and change it back to 4. So now I'm going to play my video, hit space, and then press on the camera that I want. When I hit space again, you can see the cuts down here. This is the final preview. We had this clip. I jumped into this one, and it just keeps going until we got all of our video. Now the reason why I'm getting a black screen is because of the duration that we set in the beginning. So process clips, if you recall, we made these little cuts, and therefore some of the videos will be shorter than the other ones. It may sound a little inconvenient with a clip like this, but imagine editing a 2-hour video using the classic tools like the crop tool, the eraser tool, and all that. It's going to take a long time, so why not have it play and just simply click to make these edits? So this was one method, by clicking. Now let's take a look at another method. So I brought in my clips again, and now I'm going to drag them all at the same time into my timeline. So this is for instances where you don't want to set in or out points, and you want the whole length of each clip. What you need to do next is to place the clips right above each other, like so. I'm just going to trim all of them at this point so they play at the same time. Be sure to enable all of your videos. Then without selecting anything, we're going to hold down Command K or Control K on Windows. After splitting the videos, we're going to delete the extra bits. And now I'm left with 4 clips playing at the same time. Grab all of your clips, highlight them, right click, nest, call this multi-camera. Then right click on your nest again, multi-camera, enable. Now to see the different cameras, we're going to head to settings again and just enable the camera view. So again, I'm left with the same exact view, but now instead of clicking, I'm going to use my keyboard shortcuts. So by default, the shortcuts would be Command or Control 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I want to select this clip, which is number 4, I would have to hold down Command and 4 at the same time. But that can be a little bit inconvenient because I have to hold down Command every time. But I can change that into something more suitable. Hold down Option Command K, that's Alt Control K on Windows. You're going to get the keyboard shortcuts. In the search bar, look for the camera option. Come down to the cut to camera options. It's actually Control 1, not Command 1. And I could just type in 1 instead of the Control option. And instead of having to press 2 keys, I'm just going to delete the current shortcut and hit number 1 on my keyboard. So we got this one. I'm going to change all of them into these different numbers. Once I have my different numbers, you can go further and fill up all of these, but I only have 4 different cameras, so these will be enough. Hit OK once you're finished. Now I'm going to have my video play. then have my fingers on 1, 2, 3, and 4 on the keyboard. And just using those numbers, I can switch between the different clips. You still have the option to click it with your mouse, but on the keyboard, it's a lot more convenient and easier to do. Play your clip, camera 2, camera 3, 4, 1, 3, 2, 4. Once it's finished, I now have these different cuts on my timeline. Let's go back to composite video, play this back, and I have these cuts inside of the video. You can see how much more convenient and easy this is compared to having to drag each clip, playing through Command K, delete the extra bits, bring in another clip, and then keep going till the rest of the timeline. That's going to take a really long time, so this multi-camera feature is really cool and really handy. So that's how you can use the multi-camera feature inside Premiere Pro. This is especially helpful when you're working with longer clips, and it's also helpful for talking heads or any other situation where you have different cameras set on one subject. So practice with this tool, and it's definitely going to come in handy. I hope you guys enjoyed this lesson, and I will see you guys in the next one.